for you are blessed, the one who loves your people, Yisrael.
We continue on page 2627. I invite us all to take a deep breath in. We continue with Shema on pages 28 and 30 in the Hebrew and then in the English.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadevarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom al levavecha, v'shinatam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha v'vetecha, u'vlechtecha v'derech, u'shochbecha u'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beineinecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, Uvisharecha. Leman tiskeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeet hietchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. You shall love Adonai your God with all your mind, with all your soul, and with all your strength. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. Thus you will become holy to your God. I, Adonai, am your God, who brought you out of Egypt to be your God. I, Adonai, your God.
We continue responsively on page 33. To break the bonds of anger, to be generous of heart, to break the bonds of envy, to serve one another in joy, to break the bonds of fear, to live with courage and strength, to break the bonds of loneliness, to receive a hand of hope, to break the bonds of self-centeredness, to extend a hand of help. Released from the darkness, our people found their freedom at the sea, and we pray for liberation at the dawning of this year. Page 34.
Mi Chad Chazak Mimenu, Baruch Atah Adonai. Baruch Hu Baruch Shema. Gal Yisrael.
Page, sorry. Is that me? Yes, I didn't miss the cue. Page 37. Why is she doing that? Unless you want me to sing something, Misato, I want to keep playing that note. Darkness settles slowly across the horizon. The new year rises before us, its fragile moon awaiting our embrace. Heaven and earth entwine in their annual dance of recreation. A fissure appears in the firmament tonight, an entrance way into new beginnings. Out beyond the swales, the sea expands and contracts, keeping time to the thrumming of the universe. Under this Rosh Hashanah sky, the path before us is uncertain. All we can do is hold each other tight as we make our way home. We continue now with Hashkivenu, led by our mazel tones. Thank you, muzzle tones. They're wonderful. We continue with Tefillah, the central portion of our worship on page 42. I invite you to, if you're able to please rise, either physically or in spirit.
Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu, ve'imotenu. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. חוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך הוא וברוך שמו,
בחיי הכל.
Page 49. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yalucha sela. You are holy, your name is holy. Seekers of holiness praise you day by day. Selah. Please be seated. Continuing on page 54. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness, together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem. and the memory of your people, the family of Israel, may we be remembered. For safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and for peace on this day of remembrance. Zachrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo l'tova. I need an amen there. Give me an amen. Nice. Eternal our God, remember us. Amen. Ufokdenu vo livracha. Amen. Be mindful of us. Amen. V'hoshienu vo l'chaim. Amen. And redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing. Amen. Favor us with words of deliverance and mercy. Show us the depth of your care. God, we await your redemption, for you reign with grace and compassion. We now take a moment to offer our own personal prayers in silence. continue responsively on page 75. We haven't forgotten Avinu Malkeinu. You could do better next paragraph. And we have no great liking for absolute power. Akiva stood before you in a time of drought, and his words went up like a flame on the altar. He was humble and forgiving, so his prayer was answered. Tonight we speak again in a time of drought, dry ground beneath us, no water, only rock.
Not a hunger for bread or a thirst for water, but hearts that are longing to hear God's voice.
For the sea of faith is all but gone, the tide's gone out on the empty beach. The world mocks our hopes and life tests our courage. And if your dominion is kindness and justice, why is creation in so much pain? Avinu Malkeinu, sustain our souls, send rain to our roots, help us find a way to pray.
Make us humble and forgiving of ourselves and one another.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew these words, help us speak with conviction and believe their truth. For 100 generations have stood before the ark, and they lifted up their voices like flame on the altar, and they put their trust in kindness and justice, and they gave their strength to make the promise real. Please rise as we continue with Avinu Malkeinu in English, then Hebrew. We join together on page 76. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, you alone are our sovereign. Avinu Malkeinu, for your sake, show us mercy. Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, bring healing and wholeness to the ill among us. Avinu Malkeinu, allay the harshness of the decree against us. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of redemption and renewal. Avinu Malkeinu, remember our goodness and call it to mind. Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake and save us. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror. Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived. Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
Lord.
Please be seated. Well, we have lived through some meshugana times, haven't we? To think that we have not been here for the high holidays since 2019 is almost unbelievable. And what we have each been through with our loved ones and family members has been nothing short of challenging. And there's no doubt that more than anything, we need to be together as a community. I have missed our time together, and I'm so excited to be together on this most holy evening of Rosh Hashanah. These COVID years have isolated us more than is healthy for any of us. And if there's a time when we need each other, it is now. And if there's a time more than any other that we need to feel a sense of acceptance for who we are, it is now as well. For our synagogue must be a place of belonging for all who come through its doors. And that is not challenging for us. Why? Because we are a loving synagogue filled with wonderful people who truly care for others. What does it mean to belong? Well, it's a great question, and I look forward to speaking about that very question on Kol Nidre. But suffice it to say that in order to feel a sense of belonging, we must feel accepted for who we are. We are living in a challenging time in many ways, but so too we are living in a time that possesses tremendous opportunities if we're willing to open our hearts and lean in emotionally just a bit. In order for each member of our synagogue to feel a sense of belonging, we need to be able to express our beliefs without judgment or reactivity. Each of us deserves to express our opinion. Our synagogue, by definition, is not based on one single opinion, but on many opinions and ideas. Thus, when I express myself, I'm giving you my opinion, not the official opinion of Temple Emanu-El. I do understand that my opinion carries a certain weight with some people, and I will try to respect that as I move forward with my comments. I believe that one of the pillar principles of Reformed Judaism is equality. In fact, the equality of women is one of the most important foundations of my own personal belief as a Jew. I could only be Jewish if it included equality and freedom for all. My mother, of blessed memory, D. Judith Foxman, raised me to not only put down the toilet seat, but to respect women as true equals. And through her example, I internalized early in my life the importance of equality and the importance of connecting to my inner feminine energy. I'm sure many of you can relate with being raised with a strong Jewish mother influence. And we're not just talking about making chicken soup here, but a host of qualities that have impacted who and what we are as people. It is actually funny to reflect on the era I was raised. Born in the early 60s, my formidable years as a child was in the 70s with disco slickness and macho men. Oy vey, what role models. There is no doubt when we look at gender today, it is not what a lot of us were raised with and may even feel very foreign. I, for one, am very thankful for the younger generations who are able to help educate us about their expansive and open view of gender and sexuality. Did you know that Judaism does not believe there are two genders? According to the Talmud, which consists of Mishnah, our oral tradition, and Gemara, the commentary on the Mishnah, there are no less than 8 gender designations, including Zachar, male, Nekeva, female, androgynous, having both male and female characteristics, tum, lacking sexual characteristics, Elonit Hama, identified female at birth, but later naturally developing male characteristics, Elonot Adam, identified female at birth, but later developing male characteristics with human intervention, Saris Hama, identified male at birth, but later naturally developing female characteristics, and Saris Adam, identified male at birth and later developing female characteristics with human intervention. In fact, not only did the rabbis recognize 6 genders that were neither male nor female, but there's also a tradition that the first human being, Adam, was both male and female. Versions of this midrash are found throughout rabbinic literature, including actually in the Talmud. Rabbi Yemira ben Elazar also said, Adam was first created with 2 faces, one male and the other female. As it is stated in Psalms 139, you have formed me behind and before and laid your hand upon me. Later, according to Rabbi Yemira, this original human being was separated and became 2 distinct people, Adam and Eve. According to this midrash, then, the first human being was, to use contemporary parlance, non-binary. Genesis Rabbah 8:1 offers a slightly different version of Rabbi Yemira's teaching. The midrash states, quote, Rabbi Yemira ben Elazar, in the hour when the Holy One created the first human, he created him as androgynous, one having both male and female sexual characteristics. As it is said, male and female he created. Genesis 1. For the rabbis, the androgynous wasn't just a thing of the mythic past. The androgynous was, in fact, a recognized gender category in their present. And the term appears no less than 32 times in the Mishnah and 283 times in the Talmud. Most of these citations are not variations on this myth, but rather discussions that consider how halakha, Jewish law, applies to one who has both male and female sexual characteristics. That the androgynous is, from a halachic or Jewish law perspective, neither male or female, is confirmed by Mishnah Bikurim, which states this explicitly, quote, "The androgynous is in some ways like men and in other ways like women. In other ways he is like men and women, and in other ways he is like neither men nor women." In recent decades, queer Jews and allies have sought to reinterpret these 8 genders of the Talmud as a way of reclaiming a positive space for non-binary Jews in the tradition. The starting point is that while it is true that the Talmud understands gender to largely operate on a binary axis, the rabbis clearly understood that not everyone fits these categories because they got it. The bottom line for us is that if we are going to be a synagogue open to all, we need to move away from binary language, especially in terms of gender, and understand that each of us is truly unique. That is why we have introduced the concept of bar mitzvah as a non-binary option to bar and bat mitzvah at Temple Emanu-El. What I appreciate about the Talmud, seeing more than 2 genders, is that it validates my experience and my work with others. I do not see things from black and white lenses and never really have. I see feminine energy at varying degrees in men, and I see male energy in varying degrees in women. Are we not all feminine in utero to start off with anyway? So too, this view from our Talmud connects with the Kabbalistic view of the divine feminine. What is the divine feminine? The spiritual concept that there exists a feminine counterpart to our patriarchal and masculine worship structures, which appears in just about every organized religion. In our tradition, the Talmud introduces the term Shekhinah to connote God's presence in the world. The term, though, is grammatically feminine, which has become the foundation of the belief that Shekhinah is the divine feminine or feminine aspect of God. This would be the view of God as mother, nurturer, protector, and compassionate one. Shekhinah is based on the Hebrew root shachan, meaning to dwell, and is found throughout early rabbinic literature. The connection between Shekhinah and feminine energy emerges mainly in Kabbalah, our Jewish mystical tradition. The concept was later embraced by Jewish feminists as a way to counterbalance the prevailing masculine notions of God as king, judge, and father. The term Shekhinah does not appear in our Bible. The closest reference is 2 verses in the book of Exodus, in which God promises to dwell, v'shachanti, among the Israelites once they have built the tabernacle. Shekhinah also appears in some of our Jewish liturgy, especially at a time of grief when we recite El Malei Rachamim, which asks God to provide our dead with true rest under the wings of Shekhinah. As Rabbi Leah Novak observed in her book, On the Wings of Shekhinah, Rediscovering Judaism's Divine Feminine, while the rabbis of the Talmud did not explicitly identify Shekhinah as feminine, many of the attributes they ascribe to her are common to ancient goddesses: love, compassion, justice, and healing. The word Shekhinah is found throughout the medieval period. The greatest of the medieval period, Maimonides, made a handful of references to the Shekhinah in his legal work, the Mishnah Torah. Likewise, the 16th century legal code, the Shulchan Aruch by Joseph Caro, states that when praying, one should imagine the Shekhinah standing before them. That was 16th century. Jewish mysticism, or Kabbalah, gives the Shekhinah a distinctly female quality. The Zohar compares the Shekhinah to a mother, sister, daughter, and bride. Kabbalists also associated Shekhinah with the clouds of glory, which guided the Israelites during their wandering in the desert, and the pillar of fire that warmed them at night. In this telling, the Shekhinah is a protective maternal presence on the Israelites' journey from slavery to freedom. Kabbalistic cosmology is rooted in the notion that divine energy has masculine and feminine polarities that can be unified through human action. The idea of the Shekhinah as the counterpart to the masculine element of God is, according to the Kabbalistic scholar Gershom Scholem, one of Jewish mysticism's most significant innovations. When we think of Shekhinah, or divine feminine energy, what qualities do we associate with that energy? Intuitive, heart-centered, forgiving, compassionate, healing, empathetic, nurturing, creative, nature lover, collaborator, sensuality, kind, gentle, communicative, loving. I find it interesting that these are all qualities that we need more of in our world. And in fact, it seems to me that we are out of balance with these qualities right now. An example of being out of balance is how the feminine is under attack in our country right now. My mother would be so angry if she were alive. And the work that so many did in her generation to fight for women's equality feels like it's been dismantled. So how can we talk about the divine feminine on this Rosh Hashanah without calling out what is happening around us as women's rights to an abortion are being taken away? By the way, our movement is very clear on abortion. And you could take a look at the URJ's website to see the following. The Reform movement's position on reproductive rights are grounded in the core belief that each person should have agency and autonomy over their own bodies. Our advocacy around abortion access is inspired by the Jewish value of kavod habriot, respect for individual dignity. This same sanctity underscores the vital need for medically accurate sexuality education, affordable family planning services, and high-quality maternal and women's health care. Life is sacred in Judaism. Banning potentially life-saving medical procedures and interfering with a patient's decision-making and moral agency runs contrary to the Jewish commandment to protect life. This belief, combined with biblical and rabbinic emphasis on human dignity, has led the Reform movement to view the life of the pregnant individual as paramount, placing a stronger emphasis on protecting existing life than on potential life, based on Exodus 21, 22 through 23. Furthermore, the rabbis tell us that a physician's job is to heal, and if they withhold medical care, it is as if they have shed blood. Quote, the Torah has granted the physician permission to heal, and it is a religious duty which comes under the rule of saving an endangered life. If he withholds treatment, he is regarded as one who sheds blood, unquote. That's from the Shulchan Aruch. Regressive state laws that prevent physicians and other providers from providing health care is in direct opposition to the sacred duty. So too, Rabbi Maimonides said, if a woman is in hard labor, her life takes precedence over the fetus's life. In Mishnah Ohalot, a woman is forbidden from sacrificing her own life for the fetus, and if her life is threatened, she's allowed no other option but abortion. In addition, if the individual's mental health is at risk, then their life should take priority, giving them no other option than to terminate the pregnancy. It is due to the intrinsic Jewish belief in the sanctity of life that abortion is viewed under some circumstances as a moral and necessary decision. But when it comes down to it, when I think of the strength that I associate with the divine feminine, Shekhinah, I think of my mother Judy, as well as our recently departed matriarch Rita Lauren, who I'll be talking about on Yom Kippur. And I can hear Rita saying to this issue, it's none of their business. For in the end, if we respect the divine feminine in ourselves, then how can we not support and stand up for a woman's right to make her own decisions about her body? In the end, Rita is right. It is none of their business. I miss my mom. I miss Rita so much, and so many other women from this congregation that through their example taught me that Shekhinah is an energy that can envelop us and comfort us, but must never, ever be diminished by male ego and hubris. That is why standing up for a woman's right to choose is an important Jewish value that our matriarchs fought for, literally for generations. Thus, standing up for women's equality is opening our hearts and souls to the healing energy that is all around us, and that is Shekhinah. Amen.
Hashanah Tova. I'm Steve Crandell, president of Temple Emanu-El's Board of Trustees. They say a good talk often starts with a joke. It always worked for my dad and for Richard Rusnak. So given that this is my last time that I'll be up here as Temple president, I figured, why not? So Jeff, please forgive me. If there's one piece of attire that gets a great deal of use at this time of year, it surely is the talit. It's told that when Rosh Hashanah was over, Abi wanted to have his talit cleaned in time for Yom Kippur. After asking for recommendations, he decided to take it to Moshe, the bargain dry cleaner who will do it for only $4. So Abi goes over to Moshe's and finds that the ownership has changed. He asks the new owner, Mr. Jones, if he'll match the old prices. Mr. Jones assures him that he will. 3 days later, Abi goes to get his talit and is given a bill for $24. I thought you'd meet Moshe's prices. I did, said Mr. Jones. $4 for the talit and $20 to get all those knots out of the fringes. The last time we were here together was September 29th, 2019. I had the honor of speaking to you about our 2020 project. A few months later, I volunteered to be Temple president. I thought, How hard could it be? Within 60 days, we were all locked down and no one really knew what was going to happen next. We quickly had to learn how to operate our synagogue while the building was closed. I don't have to remind you what that was like. I think we did a wonderful job and kept our congregation moving forward. Some of the changes were good for us. I think Zoom has allowed us to be more creative with our programming and certainly allowed us to stay connected during a very difficult time. Reform Judaism was already going through a lot of changes, but the pandemic accelerated the process. It used to be that we talked about membership and dues. Who are the members? What are they paying? How do we convince them to give more? It was a very institution-centric view of the world. It was all about what our membership could do for the temple. When I joined the board 17 years ago, which is hard enough to believe, a noticeable shift had begun within the reform movement. We started talking more about engagement and retention. The feeling was that if you welcomed new people and offered enough programming, they would stay. The temple would have plenty of money to do whatever we needed. We eliminated the word dues and talked about commitment. We needed to keep people interested and everything would be great. But the world keeps changing. We work more hours than ever before. We overprogram our children. Life is not easier than it was even 20 years ago. On top of that, only 30% of Jews marry other Jews. How do you keep a congregation growing, thriving, and vibrant? Enter the concept of belonging. I know it sounds like just another touchy-feely thing that's no different than anything we've done in the past, but it is quite different. When I was a kid, Temple Emanu-El was a focal point for our family. Many of my parents' friends belonged here. Their cohort of friends were deeply committed and served in all sorts of ways, on the board, sisterhood, brotherhood, committees. Names we all recognize: Fox, Leiter, German, Davis, Goldberg, Ross, Summer, Shank, and countless others were self-motivated and served the temple in every possible capacity. I think the underlying motivation for many was, what can we do for Temple Emanu-El? We still need that attitude, but our future success depends on something quite different. So what's changing? We need to shift our mindset in several areas. First, we need to move away from developing leaders in specific positions and instead focus on developing leaders who can make things happen. My dad always said, it's easy to find people to take on a project. It's hard to get people to take on a program. This will empower all congregants to find the thing they want to do and do it. A simple example. I'd love to be in a photography group. Does the temple have one of those? We can't continue to respond with, let's put that on the agenda for a board meeting. Instead, we need to say, not yet, would you like to start one? Second, we need to move away from text-to-life approaches, engaging people by starting with prayer or Hebrew or ritual and text, and instead embrace life-to-text approaches that engage people by starting with their lives. Okay, that's a mouthful. What does it really mean? It means that we can better connect with people more. Let me start that again. It means that we can better connect with more people if we have programming that goes along with things that people are dealing with in their own lives. Sure, it's important to have services on Friday nights, but perhaps we don't need to worry about how many people are there so much. Maybe we can be just as effective if we have events that bring people together who are dealing with a common issue. For example, we have a group of people who have been meeting periodically to talk about what role we play in our kids' lives when they go off to college and beyond. These people feel connected because they're all dealing with the same issue at the same time. We need to be more focused on connecting people, not just getting them to services. This is different and may require some skills that we don't yet have. We need to focus a little less on affiliation and membership, instead move toward a culture of belonging. We must change the questions we ask ourselves. Now we often ask, how do I get so-and-so to join? Why aren't they members? Instead, we need to ask, do people feel seen, heard, known, and loved? Have we helped someone to connect with others within our temple family? Do people feel like they have a home here? This means we need to collaborate with other congregations and agencies within our area. We need to be expert at marketing our programming to the entire Jewish community. We can't continue to think we're the only game in town. We need to embrace people who have not joined and welcome the energy they bring to our community. Sure, not everyone will join Temple Emanu-El, but some might. If people join elsewhere, that's okay too. Fourth, we need to focus less on the needs of the institution and more on the needs of people. Instead of wondering why people aren't giving or participating, we need to be more concerned about what they want from Temple Emanu-El. Basically, the question shifts from what can you do for Temple Emanu-El to what can Temple Emanu-El do for you? Fifth, we need to worry less about what the Jewish community looks like now. Instead, we need to be building for what the Jewish community is becoming. We just can't do things the way we always have. Adapting to our continuously changing community is critical. It means acknowledging that just because we don't see many Jews of color in our congregation, or transgender Jews, or working class Jews, it doesn't mean they don't exist. It means we haven't made it easy enough for them to get involved. It means taking a hard look at who we honor with positions of authority on our boards. It means asking hard questions about what Jewish life and rituals look like for the members of our congregation, or of our congregational family, that were not raised Jewish. 70% of Jews marry people who don't have a Jewish background. How do we better welcome the entire family and extended family and make them feel comfortable with who we are? And how do we make them feel spiritually fulfilled when they need us? What would it look like to build a community with folks whose grandparents are an integral part of their children and grandchildren's lives? It means recognizing that the Jewish people is made up of all kinds of Jews. So where are we now? We've begun to take some steps which we feel are important. We have a fantastic membership committee led by Shirley Lee and Kim Jackman. We're rebuilding our list of prospective members. Rochelle Vogler led the development of an onboarding process that includes a buddy system and a solid process to make sure each new member has contact with the various auxiliaries and leaders throughout the organization. No one will get lost in the shuffle. Every event we have should have a goal of either attracting new members, bringing in more of our existing members, or something related to belonging. We're putting more of an emphasis on social media so that we can broaden our reach beyond our current members. Rebecca Frederick is helping us to reimagine our Havurah program. Sharon Jenkin, Bob Levy, and Marcy Gersten are heading up our Tikkun Olam programs. Surveys have shown that younger people want to be involved in bettering the world. They want to be involved, not lectured to. They want to participate and truly be seen. We're experimenting with services where the congregation can actively participate instead of being just a spectator. I think you'll get a taste of that at tomorrow morning service. Our 2020 project is part of this journey as well. When complete, we'll have a home that we can all be proud of. If you have any interest in getting some more information, come see Andrew Weinberg, Larry Fox, or me in the lobby after any of our I Holy Day services, and we can show you what's going on. If you happen to see Michelle Kusanovich, our architect, I'm sure she'd be happy to tell you her vision for many parts of the project. So what do we need from all of you? First, you can start by filling out the survey we're going to email to you once High Holy Days are complete. We want to know how you feel about the whole experience and the changes that Rabbi Magat, along with Brandon Frederick and the Ritual Committee, have made. We're also going to give you the opportunity to tell us, what can Temple Emanu-El do for you? It's your opportunity to tell us what would make you feel happier and more connected to this community. Finally, I'd be derelict in my duties as president if I didn't urge you to participate in our annual campaign. You should have received the pledge card on your way in. This is more important than ever before. This year we don't have the luxury of payroll protection loans, so our budget is very tight. To get this kicked off right, I have already secured $10,000 in matching funds. This offer expires tomorrow. Make your pledge tonight or tomorrow, and it will be doubled. On the surface, this is daunting. However, if we look at this as a journey, we can get where we need to be over time. Some of these changes may even put pressure on our economic model. However, I don't think there's a person in this room who isn't up for the task. This isn't a journey just for the Board of Trustees. Every single member needs to be part of this transformation. For some of us, that means planting trees that we may not see grow. For others, it means investing in your own future. With all we have ahead of us, I have this one simple wish for Temple Emanu-El. I want everyone who comes through our doors, virtually or in person, to leave saying, I matter, I am seen, I am proud, I commit. Hashanah Tova.
Shana Tova. I'm Sherry Wiesner, and it is my honor to represent the Board of Trustees this evening. I'd like to welcome all of you to Temple Emanu-El's High Holiday service. We are delighted to see all of you and to be sharing this High Holidays observance with you once again at the Heritage Theater and those live streaming our service as one congregational family. Please take a moment to say hello to the many new friends that are joining us today for the first time here at High Holiday services. Hint, new members have a little Kiddush Cup sticker on their ticket. So to those of you who are new to our congregation, please take a moment to stop by our membership table where we have flyers and information on all of our temple programs and activities, including High Holiday events. We want to express our thanks to Shannon Brown, David Goldberg, and the Brotherhood members and friends for creating the beautiful bima you see before you, and to our many hardworking volunteers and the temple administrative and custodial staff for their preparations for services this year. We appreciate your flexibility in sharing prayer books. If you are using a temple book, please leave it on the table as you leave the sanctuary. If you brought your own, be sure to take it with you. Our Rosh Hashanah children's service will begin at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and our congregational service will start at 10 a.m. We look forward to seeing you there. If you have children participating in childcare tomorrow, please note that this program will take place in the Roosevelt Room at 10 a.m. Please join us for a lovely Tashlich, Havdalah, and Shofar service tomorrow afternoon, September 26th at 5 p.m. at Oak Meadow Park in Los Gatos. Bring dinner for yourself and a dessert to share with others. Also in line with our greening efforts, please bring some pebbles instead of breadcrumbs. For details and directions, please pick up a flyer from the Shalom table. This coming Friday, September 30th, is Shabbat Shuvah. Join us at 6:30 p.m. in person or online as we install our new Board of Trustees and auxiliary boards at this joyful Shabbat service. In the past, we have had physical collection barrels for food. Second Harvest Food Bank is still in desperate need of food, but now has a virtual barrel on their website for your generous monetary contributions so that they can purchase what folks really need. Please enjoy a piece of honey cake as you leave tonight's service. Shana Tova, and may this year be sweet and joyful.
You were the third one up. We continue with Kiddush on page 79.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol am, veromemanu mikol hashon, v'kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav. V'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava. Et yom hazikaron hazeh, yom teruah, mikra kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'charta, ve'otanu kidashta, עם כל העמים, ודברך אמת, וקיים לעד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל, ויום הזיכרון. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. אמן.
לחיים. We continue with Elaine on page 83. I invite you to please rise if you're able to, either physically or in spirit.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומשב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts turn to loved ones whom death has taken from us in recent days, and those who died at the season in years past. Our hearts open as well to the wider circles of loss in our community, wherever grief touches the human family. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing in this new year and always. As we turn to page 90 for Mourner's Kaddish, I just want to make you aware that in the middle of this version of Mourner's Kaddish, you'll see two bolded gray words that are added. These are just additional words that are added, so just be aware of that. A little bit different than what we normally would do with Mourner's Kaddish. I invite us to take a deep breath in, thinking of all of our loved ones that we're missing right now. Let's join together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabba, ve'alma divra chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, ve'chayachon of yomechon, uv'chayei d'chol be'Yisrael, ba'agalav uzman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, Vir hadar vitale vitalal shmei de kudesha brechu leilam ul'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran belma v'imru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba mishamaya v'chayim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'al yukei Yoshvei Tevel v'imru, amen. May the source of peace bestow peace on all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved among us, wherever they may be, as we say together, Amen. Please be seated. '94. Not bad. Page 98. We're almost done. Page 98. Our God and God of all generations before us, may it be your will in the coming year to grant us a year of abundance and atonement, a year of blessing bestowed and received, join me, a year of community and compassion, a year of delight and exaltation, a year of enlightenment, a year of friendship and forgiveness, a year of going up and gladness to the land of Israel, a year of health and healing and humor, a year of inner strength and well-being, a year of joy and Jewish celebration, a year of knowledge and learning for its own sake, a year of love between parents and children, friends and spouses, brothers and sisters, a year of mitzvot and moments of sweetness, a year of nature protected and enjoyed, a year of optimism and hope, a year of peace pursued with perseverance, a year of quiet and tranquility, a year of rain and its season, a year of song and spiritual growth, a year of Torah study and tikkun olam, a year of understanding and unity, a year of vows fulfilled, violence overcome, a year of wisdom acquired and shared, a year of coexistence among the families of the earth, a year of young and old reaching out to one another, a year of Zion aglow with light for us and all the world. Our God and God of the generations before us, grant us a year of gratitude to you for the most profound of blessings, your gift of life. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu shetchadesh aleinu shana tova u'metuka. Our God and God of all our ancestors, eternal God of all generations, may your presence in our lives this new year renew our spirits and renew our strength. May it be a good year. May it be a sweet year.
L'Shana Tova Tikatenu, a good year, a year of peace, we wish to you. Leshana tova tikatevu, Leshana tova tikatevu, a good year, a year of peace, we wish to you.
Shana Tova Metuka, may this be a sweet and wonderful year for all of us. Amen. See you tomorrow morning.